the track and talk with today's pole sitter. And the Formula One outboards of the IOGP are racing today near St. Louis, and there was a spectacular crash in one of yesterday's support races. We'll have all the boat racing action. This is TNN Motorsports Magazine for Sunday, August 11th, 1991. Pat Patterson, thanks for joining us. In the last 9 ASA events, only Darrell Waltrip's win at Nashville kept Mike Eddy or Bob Seneker out of victory lane. But Waltrip won't be racing in the ASA in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania because of a Winston Cup conflict. The Jennerstown race can be seen live here on TNN at 2 p.m. Eastern. Here's how they qualified.
The first time the AC Delco Challenge Series came to Jennerstown Speedway, the teams were greeted by snow flurries. This time, the ASA racers were welcomed by sunny skies and warm weather. Now, this presented a unique problem. All of the notes about the half-mile facility the teams had went right out the window because of the radical change in weather conditions, which affected everything when it came to setting up the race cars. Glenn Allen Jr., who had been fast throughout practice, set the mark to beat early with a track record of 18.387 at 102.202 miles per hour. Allen was only the 5th car to qualify, so he had to patiently wait as the rest of the top ASA stars took shots at his time. Gary St. Amant, a member of the informal Team Cuz, along with Allen, made a strong bid for the pole position, but came up short with an 18.598. Good enough for 3rd on the grid. Johnny Benson Jr. was the 27th of 30 qualifiers to take time and almost made it pay off. Benson clocked a very stout 18.515 and will line up alongside of Allen for the start of the CarQuest 300. This is not the first pole Allen has earned this year. In fact, he has 4. But Lady Luck has recently taken a vacation when it comes to race time for the number 66.
This is our 2nd consecutive pole, and this is a big one for us because it's a TV race, and things are starting to go our way. Hopefully tomorrow in the big 300, we're going to put a show on.
Like a professional baseball player suffering through a hitting slump, all the 20-year-old Allen can do is step up to the plate for the CarQuest 300 and take his swings. Reporting for TNN Motorsports Magazine, I'm Ralph Shaheen.
All right, thank you, Ralph. Now we're going to go live via satellite to the track and talk with 20-year-old Glenn Allen Jr., who is the pole sitter for today's CarQuest 300. And first of all, 4 pole positions and 1 win. You won the season opener. But these guys, Seneker and these guys, are tough to beat. What do you got to do to beat them today, Glenn?
Well, I don't know, actually, Pat. You know, the car's running super. This Delco Voyager battery Chevrolet is just running perfect right now. So Seneker's out-tuned us, I think, a couple of times the last 4 races on pit stop. So I think this time when he pits, I'm going to pit, and I think I'm going to have something left for him for the end of the day.
Tell the people what the Jennerstown track is all about, Glenn, as far as what type of a layout it is. A lot of us have never had a chance to see a race there. Tell us a little bit about the racetrack.
Well, the racetrack's a real nice flat half-mile racetrack, which is a 2-groove racetrack, so it's going to make it real good racing for today. And the pit road's real nice, and I think everything's going to go well.
All right, what is the strategy this afternoon for you? I mean, obviously, you start up front, you're the rabbit, everybody's going to chase. Tire wear this afternoon, pit strategy. Is there any one thing you put your finger on and say, if I can do this right today, I can beat these guys?
Well, I'm going to get out and lead for a little bit, Pat, and see if anybody's got anything for me. If they do, I'm going to back off, save a little tires, and a big thing with our cars is getting our stagger right. So we're going to work on that all day and save our best set for the last 100 laps and go at it.
How about from the first of the season, Glenn, how much better do you work traffic now? It's such an important factor on a short track. How much more confidence do you have in your ability to work traffic now than perhaps at the very first of the year?
A lot now, Pat. We're starting to run up front now. Everything's going our way now. We changed teams, car owners, and motor program, and right now traffic's no problem, and we're just going to get out and run hard and finish good today.
20 years old. You got a chance to have maybe 25 more years of racing in front of you. And the way technology is today, if you're Richard Petty or whoever, you might be able to go on to into your early 50s in a race. You got to be excited to be as young as you are and have the opportunity that you have in front of you.
Yeah, I am, Pat. I mean, I'm really thankful to the people that's helped me out and got me going early enough, just like Jeff Gordon did. And we're getting to the point where we can race with these guys, and we're very competitive. So it's going to be a long race season for us and years to come.
Sponsorship is such a big, important part of everybody's race team. it seems as if that with the momentum that you've got, the big sponsor can't be that far away.
No, that's right. We just got Delco Voyager batteries to jump on with us, Pat, and things are looking super. So if this thing keeps going the way it is, we're going to definitely be somebody to reckon with.
Well, we really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us this morning, and want to wish you a whole lot of luck this afternoon. Hope it all goes well for you and you have a good, safe race.
Well, we thank you, Pat.
All right, Glenn, thank you very much. The pole sitter for today's Jennerstown event this afternoon on TNN. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have Winston Cup qualifying from Watkins Glen. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. In NASCAR news, Grand National points leader Kenny Wallace will drive the Team 3 Winston Cup car in 1992. The Pontiac was most recently piloted by Dick Trickle. Now, on a sadder note, 5-time Busch Grand National champion Jack Ingram's son was killed in a highway accident while towing his father's race car home from Indianapolis last Sunday. Robbie Ingram was 28 years old. All of us here at TNN extend our deepest condolences to Jack and to his family. And Davey Allison won the Winston Cup road race at Sears Point in June after a late tangle with Ricky Rudd and was penalized by NASCAR. Allison is competing today on the road course at Watkins Glen with a cast on his right hand after he broke a finger punching a wall in frustration following the Talladega race. Gary Michaels has the qualifying action from the fabled road course in upstate New York.
Ernie Irvin was one of the early cars to qualify after rain delayed qualifying. The Kodak driver may not have been expected to be among the fastest cars, but when he went out for his run around the 2.5-mile road course, he clicked off a lap at just over 121 miles per hour and became the man to beat for the pole. Jeff Bodine from nearby Chemung, New York was racing in his own backyard, and he'd have liked to have set the fast time for his fans. The Budweiser Ford was the very next car out after Irvin, but his lap fell just short of Labonte's speed, and he settled for second fastest at the time. Mark Martin's Ford had been one of the quickest cars in practice, and many thought he'd grab the pole. The Folgers driver did not disappoint when he got on the course, as he was able to turn a lap just slightly faster than Irvin's and move to the top of the list for the time being. The Sunoco crew thought they'd learned something when they won the June 29th Grand National race at the Glen, and driver Terry Labonte was confident when he went out that his Oldsmobile was going to be quick. His lap of 121.65 miles per hour surprised some observers. It was the fastest so far and put him in an excellent position to win his first race this year. Jack Roush had brought a sister car to Martin's Ford for Wally Dallenbach Jr. Dallenbach will drive a second team car for Roush Racing on the Winston Cup circuit next year. He was fast enough at the Glen for 5th starting spot. Last year's pole sitter Dale Earnhardt was one of the late qualifiers, but the Goodwrench driver could only manage 8th fastest on this day, allowing Labonte to capture his first pole since 1988.
It's been a long time since I won a pole, and I knew we were running good. I didn't know if we could do it or not. The competition's so close. We got a good lap in. Sunoco Oldsmobile ran really good in practice. I knew it'd be close, but I felt like we had a better race setup than we did a qualifying setup, so we just got a good lap, I guess.
Big break for Wally Dallenbach Jr. Looks like he'll be teamed with Roush next year for a second car and a 2-car team. As we go to break, here's the starting grid for today's Budweiser at the Glen. Welcome back, everybody. The International Outboard Grand Prix is a series that has come a long way since its founded in 1985. Mark Allen has this look at one of the fastest growing racing organizations.
0 to 100 miles per hour in less than 5 seconds, and it can turn on a dime. That's the lure from a driver's standpoint in racing a Formula One tunnel boat. In the 7 years the International Outboard Grand Prix Association has been in existence, the series has doubled the number of events in places like Winnipeg, Portland, last week in Pittsburgh, and today in St. Louis. The 24 or so regular competitors all run highly modified Mercury Marine stock block 2-liter engines. There's a real art to keeping these boats upright. A sudden wind gust, unexpected chop, can cause a 17-foot wood-constructed craft to turn turtle in a second. Back in its formative years, the series survived a season in which 5 drivers were killed in 6 events. Safety became the priority.
At that point, we all developed and worked on the same concept as the IndyCar, which is the safety pod, where the driver's actually strapped into the boat with a 5-point harness. The safety pod is made out of Kevlar, foam coring, and carbon fiber, so it's designed to take the blunt of the blow when the boat first hits the water, because at 140 miles an hour, the body cannot take that kind of impact.
It is no surprise that part of the reason the IOGP is flourishing in a weak economy is because the competition is fairly even. After all, fans will pay to watch close racing, whether on land or water.
Oh, this is definitely the Winston Cup, where you start, you always have your perennial people that you think are going to win. You always have your Darrell Earnhardts. We have our Bill Seabold. You never rule them out. But the competition is stiff. You have 25 boats here. Of the 25, 15 of them have the quality driver and the top flight equipment to vie for the checkered flag. And the other 10 have the ability to, the driving ability to win it. They just lack maybe a little bit of sponsorship dollars to edge over the top.
At $60,000 a copy, these tunnel boats are as high-tech as many a land-based racer. A 122 cubic inch engine kicks out 300 horsepower at 10,000 RPM. But the overall cost to run an 8-race campaign is a good bit less than in other forms of motorsport.
I would say, at most, we're probably 1/10 of what some of the, I would say, mid NASCAR and IndyCar teams are getting. And that's really where the corporate world is starting to take notice of what we're doing here.
The IOGP is healthy enough now to be looking at adding another 6 events in 1992.
Thank you, Mark. The 6th of 8 races on the IOGP calendar takes place near St. Louis, Missouri today, and there was a wild crash in one of the support divisions. Let's take a look at yesterday's action.
In a super stock qualifying heat, the 2 lead boats collided, with Tim Seabold getting airborne and taking a flyer completely off the course. Workers scattered as the boat disappeared into the trees. After a period of anxious silence, the hometown favorite from one of the best-known families in outboard racing emerged uninjured. Father Bill Seabold did a little better in the Formula One division. He ran a new hull of his own design, powered by Mercury, and qualified 5th. IOGP points leader Felix Sorales was 4th fastest for today's race on the Merrimack River. The Puerto Rican driver turned a lap over 125 miles per hour. South Carolinian Ben Robertson was 3rd fastest in a Mercury-powered Burgess, just 1/10 of a mile an hour faster than Sorales. The competition was close as Steve D'Souza in a Mariner-powered Burgess earned the outside front row starting spot by qualifying just 1/10 of a mile per hour better than Robertson. On the pole for today's race is defending IOGP Formula One champion Scott Gilman, who's looking for his 3rd win of the current season. Gilman turned a lap of 126.8 miles per hour in his Mercury-powered Seabold to lead the field for the 20th annual St. Louis Grand Prix.
What a crash. Should be a good event up there. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll talk with AC Delco's Bill Carlson. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. The AMA Camel Pro Riders had an unusual Wednesday night in South Dakota this week. Let's take a look at the highlights. The Camel Pro Riders lined up on the black clay of the half mile in an event held in conjunction with a major motorcycle rally. Dan Ingram got a good jump from the inside of the front row, but Chris Carr quickly moved to the point and led the early laps with the Camel Challenge winner Will Davis in hot pursuit. Carr was out front most of the way as the Camel Pro points leader seemed to have his 4th win of the season well in hand. Honda privateer Ronnie Jones moved in on Carr's Harley and looked for a way around the factory rider. With just a few laps to go, Jones blew by the faltering Harley to take the lead. He held on for his 3rd win of the year to tie 1st and 2nd place points men Carr and Scott Parker at 3 each.
Well, we really need to win. These guys, Scotty and Chris, are so tough every week, and they're going to be tough all the way to the end of the year, and they do such a heck of a job. We needed to win. I knew we needed to win. We needed to get points in big bunches, so we really needed to win here tonight, and it's it's unfortunate for Scotty and Chris. That stuff happens in racing, though, unfortunately, and it works out as an advantage for us.
Davis finished 2nd with Larry Pegram 3rd, followed by Ronnie Ferris and Kevin Atherton. Carr fell to 9th, and Parker was 14th. All right, we all know you've enjoyed the ASA coverage TNN has had this year. Again, of course, this afternoon, the Pennsylvania 300. You'll see it here live at 2 o'clock Eastern. And it all happens because corporations get involved. AC Delco has been the major link between getting the ASA on this year for television. And we talked earlier with Glenn Allen Jr., who has the pole for today's rate. The Director of National Accounts for AC Delco is Bill Carlson. And we talked with Bill a little earlier via satellite and asked him about his company's commitment to the Midwestern organization.
Oh, it really is, Pat. As you know, this is our second year with the ASA Challenge Series. This is our first year where we've had the 5 televised races. And this is a great association for AC Delco to be with ASA. We feel this is one of the finest stock car series in the country, and we look forward to being in here into the year 2000, quite frankly.
Bill, are you just a little bit surprised at how competitive this series is and how competitive it seems like it gets even more and more as races go on?
Oh, it really does. We have a lot of good young drivers in the series. A lot of veterans, as you know, Pat, have come out of here and gone on to great careers in NASCAR, like Darrell Waltrip and Rusty Wallace, etc. And this is great racing out here. These young people learn a lot about racing. They can use it to stay in ASA. We're increasing the point bank fund for the next 5 years so that we'll have a $50,000 Rookie of the Year award 5 years down the road, which we feel will really bring in some good young talent and make ASA stronger and stronger all the time.
Let's talk about what makes it stronger for you guys. It appears that this not only works on the racetrack, but it's working off the racetrack. AC Delco is enjoying bringing their people to the racetrack and really strengthening relationships with the people that sell your products.
Oh, absolutely. We bring customers out here, hospitality tents, etc. And you know, Pat, like everyone else in racing, we're not just here to be in racing. Racing is a great venue for us. We're in the auto parts business. These are our customers that come out week in and week out to watch these races. And this is where we sell our parts. And we're very proud to be associated with ASA. It's a good series, getting better all the time. And our customers are right out here in the stands every single weekend, and we want to buy an AC Delco products, and that's why we're out here, to sell products and to have our customers entertained and give them an opportunity to come out to a beautiful place like this today and watch a race.
You know, it amazes me, Bill, that the amount of youth that's involved in any of the fields that line up out there. There's Seneca and some of the others who are not the younger of the drivers, but there is a tremendous crop of young drivers that appear to be really growing their talents through ASA.
Oh, most definitely. You look at Gary St. Amant and Glenn Allen Jr., who sits on the pole today here in Jennerstown. These are great young drivers. Glenn Allen Jr. is 20 years old, and these young people have a great career here in ASA, a great opportunity to show what they have. And of course, the older drivers, they keep showing up at the end of these races, like Bob Seneca and Mike Eddy. But one of these young drivers will break in and win one of these races. Maybe today, Glenn Allen Jr., since he is on the pole, seems to really be running well.
So is that going to be your pick? Now I'm going to put you on the spot. Have you got a pick to win this one today?
If I was going to pick the winner for you today, I'd have to say it's AC Delco. What? We're on every single car out there, and we're in every single car, so we can't lose, and I wouldn't show any prejudice toward any one of these guys. I care about them all, and I enjoy being with all of them.
Sounds like a pretty safe bet to me. We appreciate you spending some time with us, and good luck, and hope it's a great event for you this afternoon.
Thanks very much, Pat. It's been a pleasure for me talking with you.
All right, that's all the time we have for right now. Now, because of TNN's live coverage of the ASA race from Jennerstown at 2 p.m. Eastern, we won't have an afternoon update at 3 o'clock, but we will be back at 6:30 p.m. live with an all-new TNN Motorsports Magazine afternoon edition. We'll have today's Winston Cup and ASA highlights, as well as the action from last night's Busch Grand National race in North Carolina. Plus, we'll have off-road racing, and ARCA president Bob Loga will join us in the studio. Then in our 8:25 update, we'll wrap up the day in racing. We'll leave you now with some of yesterday's racing results. I'm Pat Patterson. Enjoy your racing afternoon.